What's shaking, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay, and today we're going to talk about all my disappointing books of 2022. These are in no particular order. I didn't rank them. I didn't anything with them, but let's get into it. The first one I'm going to talk about is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I'm a very unpopular opinion on this. This is what they call a cozy fantasy. High on the coziness, low on the stakes. There's not much plot in here. We are following our orc who has retired from battle, and she has decided to make this coffee shop. The problem is she has to find people to work in the coffee shop, and she has to find the things to make the coffee shop. And so it's all about her getting the things to run the coffee shop, start food in the process, all of that. And so you're getting to meet all of these found family characters. The only character I really cared for in the story, there's also a romance in the story, but the only character I cared about was the little man who did the baking and did the cooking. I loved him, but everything else I just felt was meh. It was a fine book. It was 3 stars, but I went into it thinking that it was going to be 5 stars, just like everybody else. The next books that kind of disappointed me were the books in Spellslinger. I think I read the second, DNF the third. I just did not care for I loved Spellslinger, 5 stars. Fantasy. We're following there's an animal companion. Like, what else is there not to love? But I just felt like as the books go on, they got kind of repetitive. It was like a villain of the story kind of thing, which is fine. It's YA, but it just didn't hit me the way the first book did, and so it just let me down, and I ended up DNFing that series. The next one that was a disappointment is going to be The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. I love this series. I didn't so much like the first one. I gave it 3 stars. I loved book 2 the most. 5-star read. Book 3 got a 4-star, and this one is back to a 3-star. I spent a lot of time reading these books. They're quite chunky, and I just felt like it would end a lot differently than it did. So it let me down, but I highly, highly, highly recommend this series for people that like found family and fantasy, steampunk fantasy, because this was so good for that. I love the characters in this book. Josiah really knows how to make characters, and I can't wait to read whatever he puts out next. The next disappointment is going to be the entire Cradle series that I read. I read up to book 3. Half of book 1 turned out to be I thought it was going to be a 5-star. This is my series I pretty much found out that I don't like progression fantasy. I'm willing to try another series, but I don't like this. Everybody loves the Cradle series. They praise it, but it must be me. It's not for me. Fight scenes, battle scenes, training scenes, I mean, that's all the book is, and it's over and 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 over, and I just find that quite boring. So I also DNF'd that series this year. The next book is going to be the third in a trilogy that starts with Gods of Monsters by Barbara Kloss, and this is going to be Symphony of Stars by Barbara Kloss. And the story wrapped up fine. It just didn't wrap up the way that I quite wanted it to, and so it ended up being a 3-star read. The next series of books that I thought was going to be 5 stars, it was on my 5-star predictions. We were doing well. I really had high hopes for that. That's going to be The Wrath of the Dawn duology by Renee Ahdieh, and it just wasn't for me. I really liked the way the first book wrapped up, and then when we got into the second book, I just didn't care for it at all. And the fact of the matter is that, in fantasy, I appreciate when the book, you're reading this long drawn out story, you're setting up this, big story for this ultimate battle, and when the ultimate battle only takes 3 pages, I can't. Another one is Clean Sweep by Ilona Andrews. I really loved her Kate Daniels series. I've read all of them. I might reread them sometime in the future. They're just really fun reads, and so I picked up this series, The Innkeeper Chronicles. I'm not sure what the series is called, but I picked it up and I read it. And it was fine. It was a 3-star read, but it just didn't have that spark that Kate Daniels does. It is paranormal, about a girl who owns these there's these magic innkeepers, and she's one of them, and it's basically a safe haven for aliens. And then she meets a werewolf, and it's a love story. But I just didn't jive with those characters in those stories like I did with Kate Daniels. The next book that was also on my 5-star predictions, and sadly it was only 3 stars, and that's going to be The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I'm not sure how you say her name, but the complete trilogy is out now, and to be quite honest, I don't know that I'm going to continue on. It was just 3 stars. It was fine. I've heard that for some people the books get worse, so that makes me think I don't need to continue on, but I kind of just don't know where I stand on this. The premise was fine. I just didn't connect with the characters is basically what happened, and if I can't connect with characters, I can't connect with the book. Another book that I thought I was going to give 5 stars to. I don't know why I continue to do bad about picking books I may like, but that's going to be The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. I will not be continuing this series. I unhauled it. It's basically a historical, magical thing, which some of it takes place in the present, and then there's this girl who can travel back to the past. She has the magic to do so. And there's this found family, but I just didn't connect with it. So it's a no for me, Nancy. And one that probably will shock people as well is Razorblade Tears. Everybody loves Razorblade Tears. I read Razorblade Tears. I think the hype got me, and then also the fact that the novel was completely unrealistic. I get that it's a work of fiction, and I get that, I don't know, but it's not like a fantasy novel. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm reading about these fantasy things that I know cannot happen. It is like a fiction novel. Like, here's this fiction novel, which we're supposed to take seriously. I feel like in literary fiction, you're supposed to take it more seriously. I don't know. None of the things that happen in this book could happen in real life. Well, a lot of the things that happen in this book were just quite absurd. And so I just couldn't get into that. It just threw me completely out of the story. That's all. That's all my disappointing reads of the year. Let me know what your disappointing reads of the year are. Did you like any of the books that I mentioned? And am I just dumb for not liking them? I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have a great start to your 2023. And I will catch you guys later.